It's December 8th, 2017, and it's a Friday evening, and I wanted to go live and spend some time with you and talk about a few things. Excuse the camera work there. I hope you had a good week. It's the end of the week, and I feel good. I feel encouraged and thankful. So, what I want to speak on today is vegans versus vegetarians. Because you hear that so often, that term, that for me, I didn't know the difference for a while. You know, what's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian? You know, growing up, I heard the term vegetarian, but I never heard the term vegan, until recently in the past, 10, 15 years maybe, but really the last decade, we've heard the word vegan. And when I first heard it, it was actually Russell Simmons. I heard him promoting it and promoting that lifestyle, and it was always a little bit odd to me. So first I want to read to you how they define, how the internet, how society defines vegans and vegetarians. Vegetarians, the difference between them is vegetarians don't eat meat, but they tend to consume dairy products and eggs and other animal products. Whereas vegans, they try not to consume any animal products, no dairy, nothing based, no eggs, nothing that comes from an animal, completely plant-based, etc. Now, it's all relative to a person, and I'm sure that everyone has, moments that they slip up and moments that, they do certain things a certain way, etc., etc. Black Death, love and respect to you. I still remember your private message you get me, man. Love and respect to you. I remember that. Thank you. So the vegans are doing it not just for health, but also for a level of compassion. Also, so that, animals are not selling. John, what's up to you, brother? Love and respect. Animals are not used for slaughter. Animals are not used like basically mass-produced products. They're not kept in enslaved conditions just to purely milk the cows, so to speak. When I did watch Nomadic Fanatic the other day. This newest episode, and I've said some positive things about. He's inspired me, and I'm not one of those people that bash him or hate him. I just take whatever I can take positive out of somebody. But what really disturbed me was his latest episode was when he was down in Alabama or whatever, and he went to like a beef. It was like a steakhouse, but a very small one in the middle of the country. And peace and blessings to you also, road traveler. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Black Death. God bless you. And he was going to like a steakhouse, in the country land. And every state has different cultures. Every area has different cultures. So I try to be understanding and sympathetic because I realize that, coming from the New York area, it's different culture. But he goes to this place in the middle of Alabama, almost like in the middle of nowhere. And right outside the steakhouse they have the cattle, chained up basically. And he takes a picture of them, and they're like, you could tell they're scared because basically once they pull that cow out of that waiting pen, they slaughter them so you can have a hamburger. Now, before I become too big a hypocrite on this live cast, I ate meat for years, and I loved fried chicken, and I ate burgers, and I ate steak. So I'm not going to try to make a video based on rah, and this guy's evil, this person's evil. No. But when you know better, you do better. You try to. And so I was really disturbed by that video that I saw this morning. And over the course of, 6 years, I've changed my life. I've lost 200 pounds. I'm still moderately overweight. But to me, that's a huge accomplishment. And I feel so healthy. And I don't eat, I consider myself on a plant-based diet. I eat very little animal products. The only animal products I'll have sometimes tuna or salmon. What they call a pescatarian. A pescatarian is a vegetarian that occasionally eats fish. So my whole thing with life is I believe that overall a plant-based diet is the best thing, not only for your health. Albert Einstein had a quote that Nothing will change the condition of health in a society like adapting to a vegetarian, a plant-based diet. Milano from Miami, love and respect. Pack love. I see you too. And so, for your health, number one, I think that adapting to and adopting a plant-based diet is wisdom. How you choose to define it, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever. I think that's up to you, and you should define that for yourself. But also, not just for your health, I do think it should be a level of compassion towards animals. Because, a lot of times people bitch and moan that, there's overpopulation, and that's why, as far as animals, in the area, somewhere by me, that they do bear hunting this time of season, they do deer hunting, they say, well, it's overpopulated. A lot of time animals are overpopulated because a lot of times people mate them for food. Or we develop land in rural areas in the middle of nowhere, and then we wonder why there's too many animals. So I at least want to bring the subject up as a conversation piece. Again, you have to define your own life, and I'm not going to sit here and beat a drum for an hour. But I always like to start my live feeds with a specific topic that I believe has some value that can not only help your life, but put you in a better place. And that's the end game for me. The end game for me, again, is not to live cheap. The end game for me is not to live in a desert in the middle of nowhere because it doesn't cost anything. The end game for me is living a better quality life for myself. And if I can inspire anyone else to do, God bless. And if I can't, that's fine with me too. I'm still going to do me. But it's about living a better quality life, period. All that other shit, like, you know what I mean? Like talking about bullshit, it's not for me. And just trying to get around the system just to live cheap, that's not life. Plant-based diet, not only for your health, but for the compassion and the respect towards animals and wildlife. And when you have that mindset of not only, one is respecting yourself to eat well. Doesn't mean you're perfect. Again, I'm still moderately overweight. So I know struggling with your weight is a real thing. For some more than others. But I think, having a goal is wisdom. I always say, say you have a goal of being a vegetarian. And you only get 50% there. It's better than not starting at all. It's better than not having a goal at all. If you want to become a vegan and you're a 90% vegan, but 10% you backslide and you're in Popeye's, parking lot sweating, eating an 8-piece. At least you're 90% better than what you started. And that's a blessing. That's wisdom. For your health, and then also for a mindset of compassion. This world doesn't need people running around, kissing each other's ass. But this world does need people that have a level of compassion. And there's reasons why that you see people that constantly have drama with other people and with their relationships in how they move and how they move. Like, I looked at that episode and I said, no wonder this guy has, people hating on. I mean, I don't know. But focus on yourself. I don't ever want to try to get focused on somebody else's life. I'm bringing up the subject to shed light on it. I'm reflecting on it. I always had that question. What's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian? A vegetarian is doing it strictly for their diet, and they're still consuming animal products, such as dairy, such as eggs. A vegan is doing it not only for their health, but also to show compassion towards animals, and they're eliminating all animal products. Is everyone the same? No, these are labels. And what we know about life is you can't just put a label on some shit and then think that's exactly how it is. No. Everyone's an individual, and everyone should be an individual. Everyone should think for themselves. But I think that's important to talk on. And I think if you develop that mindset of self-care, of feeding yourself well, and then of looking at other life, period, with a level of compassion, you'd be a better person for it. This world would be a better place for it. And that's my opening thing I want to share. I want to get to some comments, and I'm going to chop some other things up I felt like talking about. But that's what the main thing that was on my spirit. Pack love, what's up? Milano, what's up from Miami? Black Death, I agree for the most part. Yes, that's right, Black Death. I mean, you have to figure out your own journey, and I respect that. You know what I mean? There's some parts that, you move. I understand that. Respect. Milano, I do not like animal killing like hunting. I agree with that. Definitely if you're gonna just hunt, if you're gonna just hunt for game, then I'm definitely not gonna say just, do you. I'm gonna say I totally disagree. You know what I mean? I totally disagree. If you're just hunting for game, like to, put a trophy up in the air and like to show that you're a tough guy, you're a coward. You know what I mean? Hiding up in bushes, wearing camouflage like you're a soldier, and then like, killing a defenseless deer. Those are the same cowards that would never lace up their boots and go to war. They would dodge a draft. They're tough guys with a rifle in the middle of a fucking forest with all their camouflage on, hunting a defenseless deer. But if, God forbid, we ever went to war, something needs to be the last people that volunteer. Because these are the type of people that you're dealing with. These are cowards. And I will say it harshly towards those type of people. Because I think they are. Again, if you're a type of person where you're hunting for survival, if you're hunting for feeding yourself, that's understandable. I mean, that's reasonable. And even if I disagree with it, I could kind of like accept it a little bit because I don't want to just force my opinion. Excuse me, I hit the wrong button. But there's some stuff in life like I can't get with, and I have to disagree and say I totally disagree with that. But, those are my general thoughts on that. Excuse me, a little dark, but I don't want to put too much lights on. Milano says, yeah, I just do not like to think people love animals. Man, I agree. Hey, Linda. Wow, where did I come in? Yeah, you just came in on, you came in, Dolores. What's up, D, from New Hampshire? God bless you, D. You came in basically on me talking about what's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian. Vegetarian consumes some animal products such as dairy and eggs. A vegan does not consume any dairy products. In addition, they do it for compassion for animals. I saw the latest video from Nomadic Fanatic when he went to basically a slaughterhouse / steakhouse. He looked at some defenseless cows. He put the camera on them. They got scared as hell. And then he went and he ate the burger and he laughed about it. I didn't like that. It didn't sit well with me. Especially with this guy, claims that, he loves his cat and then bitches and moans when people come after him, without standing up. I mean, so it's like, I understand why people don't like the guy. I'm not bashing him because, again, I want to be fair that he provides a level of inspiration, and everybody's not me. But, just like I make videos sometimes, like I say, look, I respect this, I respect that. I disagree with this, I disagree with that. I don't do so like in a bully-ass, mean way. I mean, again, like some people, they make whole channels and videos bashing other people. I don't do that. But I'm saying that I disagree with, that really spurred me. In addition, somebody left a comment on one of my older videos like yesterday, and they asked me to talk about, plant-based diets, vegans, vegetarians, etc. And so I think that's an important conversation. One is to know the difference, but two is to get your mindset, to get my mindset around a plant-based diet. Why? Because your health is your wealth. And because I think that in addition to taking care of yourself, it also helps us take care and look at society in a different manner. Rather than just look at people like animals or, treat animals in such a money-making, cattle, slaughter, ruthless manner. That's archaic. Yes, I understand that happened decades ago for survival. But when that shit was going on for survival, I mean, hey, it's Miss Kimberly. When that shit was going on for survival, there was a lot of other shit going on in society that was totally wrong. So you can never just say because previous generations did it, it's right. That is an unevolved mind. And so previous generations did a lot of shit. One is because they didn't know better. And then two is because, sometimes it was just like wrong. They did it, but it was wrong. Period. And so, let me just get back to some things. I know I missed some comments. Hey D. Hey Don. Thought you'd be driving south today. Sailing, thank you. Yes, I'm thinking about going to Florida. If I do, it won't be tonight. What I did do is I had to do some laundry. I love going to the laundromat. I love less commitment. I love going to the laundromat and I don't never have to worry about my washer machine breaking down. I don't never have to worry about cleaning my dryer vent. I just put the coins in there and I get it out. And I love that lesser commitment. I mean, I made a video today about lust. I mean, I like giving myself a happy ending and I don't have to deal with a relationship. I mean, people laugh at that and they say it's crazy and they'll joke. I don't give a fuck. Because for me, I'm expressing myself. You know what I mean? And I've lived various different types of lives as far as, doing different things and having relationships and having a lot of materialistic stuff. And I like relationships as far as connecting with people, and I have real life, people that I connect with and vibe with, etc. But I like my own personal time. I like vibe, and I don't like to be connected to things. So I'm sharing all that to say I did some, one is I had work today, so I wasn't going to travel during the day. And then two is once I got out of work, I had to do some errands such as washing my clothes, eat, and I had to do a couple personal errands for people I know. And then so now I'm not going to travel this late at night. If anything, I'll wake up early and possibly do it. I'm in no rush. So if I do go down, I may do a little bit driving tonight, or I may go down tomorrow. But just like when I went down a few weeks ago, I'm not in a rush. I do know somebody that's down there. I have a friend down there right now in the Key West, but I don't think I'll go that far south. It's gonna in the New York area. It's gonna be snowing. Well, it's already snowing in southern, eastern New Jersey, but it's gonna be like a dusting 3 to 4 inches. So that doesn't inspire me. So I probably will be south. Excuse me. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. Black Death, I'm sorry, Mr. Comment. Sam, do you believe humans will destroy the earth? Good question. That's an introspective question. Thank you, Black Death. Sam, he said, do I believe? Good question. Do I believe humans will destroy the earth? It's a great question. I think they will get on the brink. They will get to the very end of destruction. And then when they're at the very brink of destruction, when they're almost totally destroyed, it will be a society reset and there'll be an evolution. I think that's what it takes for most people in most situations to evolve. It takes for people to hit rock bottom, and it causes a reset. And then there's an evolution. An evolution meaning not like some magical, crazy, ununderstood. Evolution means there is a change of behavior and there is a change of a mindset due to circumstances. That's what evolution means, basically. I mean, paraphrase it, but that's what it is. So evolution isn't something like some guy invented. Evolution is society gets to a certain point where the only way to survive is to change. And most people will not change until they absolutely have to. And what are humans? What is society? A collection of people. And so there's certainly exceptions. There's certainly people that can see change coming and then can adapt prior to that change needing to happen. But on average, the whole of society, they'll wait until shit absolutely hits the fan, until we're on the brink of destruction. And then instead of us fighting other countries, and then instead of us, being divided amongst borders, amongst races, religions, then the only reason we will unite is because the only reason to survive will be to unite. And then it won't fucking matter if you're from North Korea, Afghanistan, if you're Muslim, if you're atheist, it won't matter. Why won't it matter? Because when society is at the point of not just a war, I'm talking about when they're at the point of extinction, then there'll be a total evolution of humanity. Now, when people are at war, then they won't change their mind. Because on average, how does war start? War starts with a bunch of rich, powerful people from all different countries and all different faiths that they want to keep their power. So they manipulate the normal, average people in their country to believe in patriotism, to believe in a certain thing, a religious thing, and they say this is worth going to war. Then those people who declare war, they sit behind their golden palaces. And once a mass number of regular people die, and it gets close enough to the top, then they think about ending the war and causing a peace treaty. And then decades later, they'll go to that country and they'll be best friends. That's the history of mankind. And so the only way that will totally stop that itself, where the entire globe is at threat. And then, we finally wake up. But other than that, that's how I think it'll play out. But do I know the future? No. I'm giving my opinion, my perspective. No one knows the future. I'm not one of those people that call for Armageddon. I kind of look at things from a retrospective, not just intellectual, but spiritual, but just a realistic way too. That's how I see people move in life. So that would be my overall opinion. Everyone has their own, but good question, thoughtful question. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Linda, how are you, my friend? OIC, or some have a channel, me. I don't know what that means. Pack Love. Nomadic Fanatic is making his living society of YouTube to stay alive. That's not living. Yeah, I agree. And again, I want to be fair. I'm not one of those bashers of him or anybody else. I mean, I disagree with him and Bob Wells and other people at times. He is an inspirational person at times, and so I thank God for that. You know what I mean? I can still like say like I like this about this person, I don't like that. Um, but there's certain things about him like I don't like. But I'm not a basher. But yeah, I agree. But again, like do them. If they want to do them and they want to live in the middle of nowhere and they want to do, I'm all for that. But like what I'm not for is like, you know what I mean? He did like 2 videos of like raising money, selling t-shirts. And then he's raising that money to go like fix his tooth in Mexico. I thought that was like a year ago he did that. And it's like, that's when it's like suspect. But again, if he's not forcing anybody, that's fine. It's the same thing like with church. There's plenty of people like that do that in church. So it's all over. So I'm just, I don't want to start to get into a thing where like I'm trying to like, you know what I mean? Whatever. All I'm trying to do is I'm stating what I feel. I saw the video. I didn't like how he treated those animals. Or how like he played like cutesy. And it just, I think it's wisdom to have a plant-based diet. So I'm using it as an opportunity to talk about what's good, not just for being a nomadic person, what's good for you as being a person. Is having as much as you can, as much as you want, a plant-based diet. And then two is I think it'll make you more aware of other life in this world other than yourself, including animals. I think that'll make you more compassionate. It's Miss Kimberly, 3 laughs to the sides. And plum fish. I see you, it's Miss Kimberly. Black Death. It's a heavy question. I try to stay very positive, but humanity is in trouble. Yes, I is. Don't take on the sadness of the world, Black Death, because you're not responsible for that. You're just responsible for yourself. And like, you know what I mean? Me and you connected a few times. You sent me a few messages. I could tell you be you. Stay positive. Don't let the world make you sad. You know what I mean? Don't let these assholes, you know what I mean, take into your spirit. Speak on shit when you need to speak on it, but keep moving forward. You were speaking common sense, refreshment. Thank you, Black Death. Love and respect. Audrey, what's going on, Audrey Rodriguez? Oh, that's Glam Gypsy. Glam Gypsy, how many different names you have? Oh my God. And I know you're not gonna do the Honda Element anymore, but you're living in a minivan, right? Or part-time minivan. How's it going? Hey everyone, it's snowing in Atlanta. It's snowing everywhere. It's Miss Kimberly told me it's snowing in Houston. Oh, Linda, it's warm in Florida. Just like John said, I mean, I may be trekking down there even tonight I may start. It's gonna take a long time to get down there, a couple days. If I go, but that's the only place that's warm. And even like someone was saying on the radio today in New York that on like Z100 or something, I don't even listen to that, but one of the people in my jobs told me that they were saying, oh, it's going to be freezing in Florida. It's going to be 47 on Sunday. And I was like, that's fake news. Because sure enough, I look at the weather. It's going to be 70. Well, in South Florida, it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny. The low is going to be 47. The low is at night when everybody's sleeping and you want it to be cool. But during the day, it's going to be 70 and sunny. I'll take that over 30 and snowy. Okay. But again, I mean, some people like the snow. Some people like to, walk around with their North Face on and go look at Rockefeller Tree. And if you never did it, I get the attraction. But I mean, you do that only so many times. And then, like, I don't know. I'm just the type of person where the environment that suits me is warm weather. Everyone's different. Let me just get to back to some things. Like that's hey, Aubrey. Aubrey, great topic. Audrey, laugh out loud. You must have heard me saying all but names. Audrey, yes, good. I just need another heater trying to compare different ones. Okay. And don't forget to layer up, Audrey. Don't forget to layer up because that's all you need. You really don't need to, one is I want you to do whatever you want, period. 2 is I just want to say is what I've really noticed in the nomadic life is that many people are, even though they have gotten rid of their house or their apartment, they're still in the consumerism trap. Meaning that now instead of shopping at Target for all their home decor, now they shop at Camping World. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're not buying knickknacks for their house and they're not like overspending there, but they're overspending at Camping World. Like they're buying like, 20 different type of like, you know what I mean? Whether it's heaters, whether it's like, you know what I mean? water pressure gauges, all different types of shit. Now again, I mean, I'm saying that, and I don't want to say that with a mean spirit, because again, everyone has their own type of life they want to live. I mean, I live very simply, but I just say that don't get seduced by people who sell you the nomadic life, and then they're really dumping more money into their depreciating asset, and they're actually living worse financially than if they bought a house and they dumped that money in a house. Because again, if you decide to live as a nomad and you buy an expensive RV or whatever you buy, and you just keep buying shit for it, you're buying things for a depreciating asset. And you're kind of like defeating the purpose, unless it's not about the money for you. So I want to be fair and say that too. Like, I know some people, like, it is totally not about the money. It's just about they like being mobile. And I respect that. Like, I'm going to get to my comments too. And I see, like, even my man Milano that I connect with from Miami, like, I think he did good for himself. And so for some people, like, it's not just about I want to live, where I don't spend money and simply. Some people, like, they just want to be mobile. They don't want to have to come to a fixed house every day. So I get that. So I have to be fair. I'm trying to think this out. And, everyone has a different way they like to move, so it is what it is. Audrey says 35 degrees in Atlanta. Yeah, see, that's the trigger. When you're in Atlanta and you're in Georgia, until you cross over into Florida, you're not in that tropical zone. And then even when you get into Florida, when you get into Jacksonville, you really got to go to central southern Florida to get that tropical heat, because it gets cool, very cool to cold in the North Florida or definitely Georgia area. And obviously we're dealing with a cold front. Milano, Sam, now that you do not have a house, it's very easy for you to pack and go, right? Definitely, Milano. Like for me, like right now, like, I just finished work for the week and I got a little vacation time left for the end of the year. Like back in the day, if I had a house, one is it's harder to go on vacation, because not only the hardest part about going on a vacation or leaving your 30-mile radius is you're breaking your routine. And when you break your routine, it gives you a level of uncertainty. And that uncertainty gives you fear. And so that fear will prohibit you from traveling too far, because you're outside your comfort zone. You're outside your normal daily structured routine. That routine is even harder to break when you have a fixed home base in that area, and not just like a piece of land, but a physical structure that you're paying a big amount of your money to. Because like, I'm leaving this thing, I'm paying so much more money, and I got to pay more money to go get a plane, to go get a hotel. And then, you got to worry about people watching your house, or, whatever you have to worry about. You don't have the financial freedom. You're counting your pennies more. And there's a mental barrier there. So right now, having everything I own always with me, and, not having much, I'm so much lighter, and I'm not in a rush. That's what I really noticed my past couple trips to Florida. Why I'm enjoying life more for me is I'm no longer in a rush. If I had a house, one is I don't know if I would have the mental wherewithal to go on long, trips and vacations. And then two is I would be in a rush. I would be in a rush to get there, a rush to go back, because that whole mindset of just stretching yourself too thin, excuse me, let me start this car. That whole mindset of you just stretching yourself too thin, what it does is it creates a mindset of rush. Because, you're stretched too thin financially, you're stretched too thin with your time, and now your whole life is this blur instead of enjoying the journey. And so definitely consolidating my life has helped me enjoy life more and give me more time to do things I like. And I don't regret it one bit. For me, a lot of people this wouldn't be for. So it's relative to who you are and what you want out of life. It's Miss Kimberly. It only snowed last night, and it was a lot for Houston. We normally never get snow. Yeah, I mean, Texas is another one of those warm states. I mean, it's not really considered like a tropical zone, but it's definitely warm. So I hear that. It's Miss Kimberly. Black Death, I need help. Black Death, if you want to share, where are you from, brother? Are you from, if you want to share where you're from, where you live. Audrey, that's true. I put some extra layers and socks. Yeah, I mean, because again, in my opinion, central heat, whether it's from your car, whether it's from a Mr. Buddy heater, whether it's from a furnace, and air conditioning, whether it's from a window unit, whether it's from a compressor, that unnatural air is not good for you to breathe. I put my heat on to stay warm when it's cold, but like at night, layering up and feeling the elements and feeling the nature is actually part of what I've enjoyed and what's helped me. Certainly not to the point where you put yourself in physical harm. So I'm certainly not advocating, like, go try to be Mr. or Mrs. Survivor in the middle of nowhere naked. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying to a certain extent, part of, for me, this journey is to connecting with nature. And that ties into the subject of vegan and vegetarian, and being a vegetarian versus being a meat eater. Because, a lot of these, I embrace, one of the reasons I embrace the nomadic lifestyle is the connection with nature. And that's why I get upset when I see people, masturbating to freecamping.net, but then they slaughter the wildlife that, but then they slaughter that wildlife that's on that land. It's like they love the nature, but they hate the animal. And that's like the contradiction, and I don't like. I don't like that. Doesn't sit well with my spirit. Am I judging anyone? No, I'm vigorously disagreeing. And to each its own. And again, let me be honest that for years and years I ate meat. But one is, I never was brought up with this education. I was brought up mainly from the age 8 and on in a single parent household. And mainly my mom worked at night, and mainly what we ate every day was fast food. Burgers, fried chicken, Chinese food, etc. And I thank God for my mom. I mean, she did a great job. She did a great job with us, and I had everything I wanted. But what I'm trying to say is, I didn't have much of an education when it came to nutrition and, vegetarianism, etc. Like I said, I didn't hear about even the word vegan until I was watching, Run's House, and Russell Simmons was talking about it. And I even thought he was a little wacky when he mentioned it. And again, you can be an unhealthy vegan and unhealthy vegetarian because you can still consume large amounts of sugary products. So, it's relative. But at least, again, I think the goal to have a mindset of more of a plant-based diet, the goal to be more sensitive and more compassionate to living creatures, I think that's a blessing. I think that's a no-brainer, in my opinion. Get back to some comments. Shiloh, what's up, brother? Love and respect to Shiloh. Cold, windy up here in the Toronto. Are you from Toronto? God bless you, man. Must be cold area. I moved my camper to inside the shop. Laugh out loud. Order a bunch of chicken wings. No judgment, man. I understand. I enjoyed chicken for years. So it's like, I'm not bashing. I understand, Shiloh. I do. Love and respect. Black Death. We are consumers, would love to escape totally. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's something inside of our human nature that wants to consume both products that we buy, whether it's from Walmart or Camping World or Target, and also food. But I want to be a person that doesn't just accept society norm. I don't want to be a person because for decades it was acceptable to eat meat, we eat meat. I don't want to be a person that because society taught us from the beginning of the time, you want to be successful, you buy a house. I want to think for myself. And I want to evolve my mind. And I want to become better. And I want to enjoy quality of life. And that's important to me. That's a life goal for me. That'll never stop. Shiloh, because I lived in an RV for 22 years, I am debt free. God bless you, brother. But don't have a house to sell for retirement. It's a give and take. And that's what you need to be mindful of. If you decide to live out of your car, van, RV, or a tiny home, something alternate of society norm, again, you don't have that long-term appreciating asset. No guarantee that appreciating asset would make money, though. Because what I've learned in life, too, is that, let's say you bought a house and it appreciates in value over 20 years. What do most people do when they pay off their house or they have equity in their house? They refinance. I did. So, it's like just because people have a house and they have equity in it, what eventually will happen is that money will burn a hole in their wallet and they will eventually dig into the piggy bank. Even if they have the house, they'll refinance it. That's like I used to work with a guy, And he used to always say, like, Sam, if I hit the lottery, what I would do is I wouldn't give anybody cash, but I would pay off everyone's mortgage. And I told him, like, bro, I said, I wouldn't do that. I said, you want to know why? If you pay off everybody's mortgage, you know what they're going to do? They're going to refinance it. If someone hasn't been taught to live below their means, to save properly, to structure their budget, if you pay off their house, you think they're going to just have that paid off house and then live simply? Hell no. They're going to refinance that house, use that money, and do something else with it. Is that wrong? No. You should do whatever you want with your life. But I'm sharing with you the realities of life. And you need to be mindful. I still think it's a blessing. I think if you're a type of person where you get antsy being in the same spot, and you don't like seeing the same things every day, and you're single without pets, it's a no-brainer. I think that possibly, if it's for you, live mobile. What's the downside? Like I was talking about this last night with American Writer, is that he was saying, Sam, do you have any remedy for the fact that, like, we have to find a place to park every night? I said, no. We sign up for, as being nomads, that we have to constantly move. And that's the trade-off from not having a mortgage or rent. So if you're not a person that likes to constantly move and, like, have a little bit of a stressful night sometimes, then, it's not for you. There's a give and take. There's no, if you do this, there's no headaches of life. The key to all decisions is knowing yourself and playing to your strengths. Never forget it. Milano, 2 hours, 55 degrees? 2 hours, 55 degrees the rest of the day. Yeah, 70 or more. Yeah, it's 55 degrees as the low down in South Florida, but 70 degrees like mainly during the day. That's a go, Milano. That's a go. Sailing John. Told part-time job lady where I live, and she said that you're homeless. She's probably in debt. I said, no, society don't understand. That's right. Most society don't. That's why you got to think for yourself, and you can't be afraid to be embarrassed. Because the person, and I'm going to finish reading your comment, John, no disrespect. The person who belittles you for living an alternative lifestyle, as long as you are not hurting anyone else, and as long as you're not, like, being a disrespectful person and, like, camping out on people's driveway and shit, without their permission. If you're being a law-abiding citizen, you're being a positive person in society, then you know who's judging you? That lady probably has like $300,000 in a mortgage debt, and she hates her family, and she's not happy with life. I've never met a person that is happy with themselves and that belittles someone else. People treat you however they treat themselves. When somebody belittles or shames you, that's the sign that that person belittles and shames himself. So, take what she and what other people say with a grain of salt. And let me finish reading the comment. I said, no, society don't understand me. Might not get that job. They think something's funny. Well, I have to be fair. Before I got into this lifestyle, I would think it's funny too. So just like I started this conversation, this live feed about vegetarian, vegan, I have to also be honest that for decades I ate meat and I saw no problem with it. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. And I also want to say, like, for decades, I would not look down because I was always a compassionate person, but I wouldn't understand somebody who told me they live out of their car or van or even RV. I wouldn't understand it, and I would have probably, like, came at them a little sideways, so I want to be fair. So you also have to understand that, John. And two is when you're dealing with a job, what I say, people have asked me that before. I would never even tell a job that you're living out of your car or whatever. I mean, every job I've ever gotten, like even when I had a physical home, they just want to know what area you live. I've never told somebody like, yeah, I have a 2,000 square foot condo overlooking the city. Like, I never said that. Like, they just say, oh, do you live in a New York area? Do you live in a Jersey area? They never ask me like, oh, which street do you live on and how's your house? So it's the same thing. Like, if you apply for a job and you use your P.O. box or whatever you use for your address, like, the conversation of your house should never come up, and I wouldn't even bring it up because it's a personal life thing. Like, you know what I mean? That has nothing to do with them. As long as they know you're familiar with the area and that, you have a good work experience and good work references, I wouldn't be talking about living out of their car. Just like, they shouldn't be telling them, oh, I live in a 3-bedroom, two-bath house. I mean, that's irrelevant for the conversation of employee-employer. The only thing that's relevant is that you're stable, that you have work history and that you have work references. That's the only thing that's relevant and fair in an interview conversation. And that's the only thing I would discuss, because, everything else is personal information that has nothing to do with a job in most instances. Hey, Gloria, love and respect to you, beautiful. Hey, Sam, I'm weird. Well, nothing wrong with being yourself. If you're, who cares? I like the cold. There's nothing wrong with that, Gloria. You're not weird. You're what you like. It's 29 degrees here in Oregon, Ohio, that is. First light snow in the morning. I have a Feb camp out coming in February. I'm 71. God bless you. The cold keeps me going. That's interesting. Well, I'm glad you shared, Gloria. Yeah, we're all different. That's what makes the world go round. In one sense, I like that, right? If everybody liked the hot weather, Miami, Florida would be packed. And, that wouldn't be fun. Now, if everybody... So that difference in us having, that's what makes the world go round. That's a beautiful thing. Gloria, my arthritis is gone. My diabetes is gone. Keto way of eating. Love it. Gloria, I've heard keto. I don't know it. Can you please define what the keto way of eating is? Lancaster, what's up, Lancaster? Howdy, all. Emoji hands up. Love and respect. Black Death says, hey, Lancaster. Yeah, we're all different. That's what makes the world go around. I think we can all learn from each other. I think everyone has something valuable to add to the conversation if they have the right mindset. If somebody's just being mean, nasty, and negative, then there's nothing really that they can add, as far as being helpful to you. So, keeping positive people in your life. Somebody commented on one of my videos right before I went live. I don't want to say the name necessarily. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but there's nobody that's here. Gotta go, Sam. I'll check back with you. Bye, beautiful. Bye, it's Miss Kimberly. Hold it down in Houston. It's Friday night. It's Miss Kimberly about to get it in. Be careful out there, it's Miss Kimberly. Okay? You know what to do if you get lustful. And don't mess with the wrong guys. Okay? Be careful. Milano, what is the point to be in New Jersey area with frozen temp? It's better to drive south. Today I was South Beach area and it's getting packed. Yeah, all the snowbirds are going down. Well, my main reason for being up in this area right now is my job. Now that I've completed my job for the week and I have some vacation time, now I will look at coming down south. But I don't want to rush that. And, I had a long day at work, so I don't want to drive, late at night and push myself. There's not wisdom in that. If I do drive, it'll only be a little bit. So I was waiting also for the rush hour traffic to disperse. Rush hour traffic, it's 7:30 now p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on where you're watching. So, right around now, another hour or so, now it'll be dead on the streets as far as like driving down south. But before that, it's packed. Especially, the most traffic you get if you drive from the New York area down to Florida is actually in Washington, D.C. The traffic on I-95 by Washington, D.C. is the most hectic traffic that I've ever experienced. It's totally jam-wrapped. Forget about it. You try to do that during rush hour, the traffic's almost worse than New York right there in that circle. So, be mindful if you ever travel that route. Love and respect. But, those are my general thoughts. And there's a scripture that says the godly care for their animals, but the wicked are always cruel. Now, there's been times where I've had a long day at work and, I probably could have been more patient with my dog, so I don't want to sit here and preach. But I have a problem with people that are cruel to animals. And what I've usually seen in my life is those people have developed a mindset that they're also cruel to people. I'm not one of those people that protect animals and forget about people. No, I'm saying what I'm saying is that people who are usually cruel to animals are also usually cruel to people. So we should care about animals and we should also care about people. And so a mindset of more compassion towards animals will also develop a mindset of more compassionate around human beings. And I think as society evolves, Black Death had a question on, what do I think about the end of the human race? Well, one is I think we can avoid that if people, show a little bit more respect for living creatures. I think we would, as society, no matter where you live in the globe, I think we'd be better out for it. Those are my main thing that I was reflecting on tonight, and that I wanted to share. I know everybody's getting ready for the weekend, and it's another week that we wade through, and I don't want to ramble too long. Yet last night was a beautiful night. It was really, we went 3 hours strong, and it was a constant flow. But I want to be mindful that my live streams, that, and I don't have a set time necessarily, but I don't want to force anything. And if there isn't a flow, I don't want to just keep it going just to keep it going. I want to respect everyone's time, including my own. And I thank you guys, man, for allowing me to share. I thank you guys for leaving good comments and connecting with me. It's appreciated. Believe me, I read them all, and I appreciate everybody joining the live feed. What I do want to say before I leave is that continue to be yourself. Be a voice, not an echo. Be a voice, not an echo, because when you're not, the hypocrites in the religious world, the hypocrites in the political world, the hateful people on YouTube, the hateful people in this world, they're the ones that lead the conversation. Don't let them lead the conversation. Be a voice, not an echo. Get involved. Make a difference. And you don't have to make a difference by joining a group or doing something crazy. Just be a better you. Every day, work on yourself. Every day, look at the relationships you have in your life. Look at the food you're eating. Look at the people you're surrounding yourself with. Look at the creative new things. I hope this weekend that you're going to do something different. If you're off of work, I hope that you're going to go outside of your 30-mile radius. Visit a new area. Do something creative. Do something different. Don't get stuck in your same routine. There's safety in your routine, but there's not growth. There's a time for a routine, and there's a time to step out of that routine. Linda, sorry back, missed too much. That's okay. Damn, next time shake my hand, okay? Yeah, in Florida, they hurt your cat, they will hurt you. Yeah, that's right. The godly care for their animals, but the wicked are always cruel, and we're all human. We all fail. I have failed. That's the heart of my spirit tonight. Go in peace, stay positive, and stay inspired.